Hey everyone, today we're going to be planting really old seeds to see if they'll grow. The oldest seeds I have here are 88 years old, and the newest ones we'll be planting are from the 90s. We have a large range of seeds that we are going to try growing today. These here are from the 70s. This here is from the 60s. All these small cans here, including lettuce, beans, watermelon, are from the 1930s. This here is from the 50s. These here are from the 90s. We're going to try to grow them all today. I just picked up this small greenhouse at Walmart for 10 bucks. We're going to do one row of each of them. And I'm going to put it underneath a UV lamp. We'll give it a while, see if they sprout. If they do sprout, I have a room filled with ultraviolet lights that we can start growing the plants until it gets warm enough to move them outside. I have large planters that will be moving these into if they do survive. These here, it will be amazing if they grow. I have high hopes for those since they're only from the 90s. I'm going to show you all the cans and we're going to get this greenhouse set up. Okay, the first product I'm going to show you here is these beans. Take a look at the box. This is the only container here that does not have a definite date on it. But I'm following the clues on the box. It's not from the 50s because of this code, but there's also not a barcode either, so that places this sometime in the 70s. We're going to take out some of these and try growing them. The original price, 86 cents. This now would go for a few bucks. Up next, we opened this up in a video about a year ago to see if it would pop. It popped perfectly. And if you take a look at this, you can see the date on here. That is just a patent number. Now, where's the date? I know it says the 60s on here somewhere. In this writing here. 1961. And this sold for 25 cents. I have a new container of that, and I had to pay like $4 for it. Now, when you buy the new stuff, the kernels are huge because they went through a whole bunch of selective breeding. The new ones are huge with a thin kernel. These older ones, when you pop them, they're tiny, and they have a huge kernel. Years of selective breeding has changed it. That'll be awesome if we can get those to grow. This here is from the 50s. I made a video of popping this. This also popped perfectly. That was a success. And that guarantee sure does hold up, even after all this time. The next product here is still completely sealed. This here I showed in my video. I purchased a mystery box of vintage food. And you can see here, 1996 is when this thing expired. There's a whole bunch of different seeds in here. And we're going to try to grow one row of each. And it looks like there's a bag of seasoning on the top. Let's open this up for the first time since the 90s. It's still sealed. Here we have the bags of seasoning. Still smell fantastic. You can look at them all. They still look perfect. I have high hopes for these because these aren't the oldest. All I can smell in this container is the seasoning I just pulled out at the top. Maybe we could try making soup with the seasoning another time. Right here, I opened these things up about a year ago just to see the seeds. And under first inspection, I thought these containers were from the 80s because that's what I was told when I purchased them. The reason we thought that is because all the tops have this code. We thought it was from 79 or 81. But under further inspection, you can actually see here, this is from 12/1934. And these are what the seeds look like for the lettuce. I go here and grab the next can. Let's find the date on this. Here we go, 9/1931, the date of production. So this can is from 1931. It's super old. Actually, this can here is an unopened one. And the date of production on this one is also 1931. So this means it was probably, yeah, the end of the season because it has an 8. Next we have watermelon. This is the container I opened up. Here's watermelon seeds from the 30s. And look at that, even back in the 30s, they did recycle cans, because that's not from it. They cut that out of something else to make the can. Now this watermelon here, as you can see, it's from 1932. So these are probably going to be the oldest watermelon seeds attempted to grow. And those two there are just duplicates. So this is the starting kit. You can start your seedlings a few months before the growing season to get them ready to plant outside. It comes with these small markers so you can mark what they are, but I'm just going to draw with a Sharpie on top of the greenhouse exactly what they are. The back here, it has the really easy instructions. 10.5 cups of warm water to activate everything. Pour out any excess water. Now most seeds germinate between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The room I'm in right now in the winter time is a constant 50 degrees, so I'll be moving them to a nice warm room for them to germinate. Hours getting this completely perfect. I put different amounts in each one depending on the size of the seed and the age of the seed. Some of them I did some overkill, but this is how I marked it all off. The purple lettering indicates how many seeds I put in each one. Like the lettuce seeds, look how small that is. That seems like a large number, but if multiple ones start growing, I will pick them off. So if 5 of them start growing, I'll kill off like 3. I just want to give it a better chance of growing. Giant seeds like that, I only put 2 in each. But this is how I did this. The first row is watermelon, second row is beans, third row is yard-long beans, fourth row is lettuce, fifth is the pep popcorn, 6 is Jolly Time, 7 is El Mono soybeans, and the ones in that big container from 1996. I don't know what each individual bean looks like, so this is how I did this. I didn't have enough rows, so the top 2 rows, I only did 3 of each. I'm going to hook this up with a grow light. This is where the seedlings are going to remain until they start sprouting. I put these up just to reflect the light at different angles. And if they do start sprouting, the instructions on here say to raise this up like this to let air in. But now it's going to stay super humid. You can see all the condensation inside there. This is going to be set on a 12-hour timer. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. This is a UV lamp. And I also bought these reflective panels that I can put around it. Eventually, when they do start growing, they will be moved to a room in the basement that I have a whole bunch of these grow lamps. But the basement in the wintertime, I can't get it to stay above 60 degrees. But up here, it's going to stay at a constant 72 degrees for these plants. And this here, even though it's LED, it does generate a small amount of heat. After 2 weeks, not a single thing grew in here. It's now been a month, and nothing is growing in here. By now, the seeds are surely rotten, and recently, a little bit of mold started growing inside of here on a few of them. And that mold is terrible. If I open this, it makes the whole room smell really bad. So I'm just going to dispose of this whole thing. And after the 2-week period, I left this here for another month just to see with this light running. I decided to try planting some in some potting soil I bought in a bunch of planters in another room. I lined it up in just regular soil without the greenhouse, and I let that go 2 weeks. Nothing grew. I also tried germinating them in sugar water, in a wet paper towel with the sugar water. Also tried a wet paper towel that was drenched in that blue Miracle Grow liquid. Still nothing. So these seeds, I guess, were just not preserved correctly. Now keep in mind, seeds, most of them, their germination rate drastically goes down after 3 to 5 years. Some seeds, if stored properly, can last thousands of years. And scientists have actually grown seeds after thousands of years that they found in like the pyramids. I've even seen somebody on YouTube, a few people grow seeds that they claim to be from the 30s and 40s, just like these seeds. And supposedly they actually grew. So these seeds must have been stored in a bad place. Like the 1930 seeds I tried growing, they're from Thailand, so they were probably stored in a really hot place. And seeds have to be in a cool, dry place for them to last that long. I can't believe even the beans from the 90s didn't even grow. I also did, before I started my second batch in the planters, I did the float test. I put them in water, shook it up really hard, let it sit for like an hour. The ones that float supposedly are bad. Most of them sunk anyways, but nothing grew. I'll show you my other setup, but nothing happened. So this is my other setup. This is a planter I had. I had 2 of them set up exactly like this. I planted them in these small rows, kept them watered. The other planter I dumped out in the compost pile. Nothing grew in these. I also planted some in here. I've now repurposed the pot, but nothing else grew. And this is all underneath ultraviolet lights. I have 40,000 lumen grow light down here, and that should have been enough. Like, I have all kinds of other things growing, and they all do fine. Granted, most of them are house plants, but this isn't. This is citronella. This is usually an annual, but this is its 3rd year surviving because I brought it in. And this is also a good thing to have indoors, especially when you're growing with potting soil, because a lot of times you get those little flies and stuff that you have to treat. Not with a citronella plant next to them. It keeps everything away. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching.